They say a luxury bag loses its status the moment it's stamped made in China. For decades, high fashion houses have leaned into that myth, selling exclusivity, legacy, and European craftsmanship as part of the price tag. But what if the truth is far more uncomfortable? According to multiple manufacturing insiders and supply chain analysts, over 80% of the world's luxury handbags are actually produced in China, not as counterfeits or dupes, but as legitimate products manufactured through legal outsourcing agreements. And for the first time, the people behind those factories are speaking out. In a wave of viral TikToks, alleged Chinese OEM manufacturers, those who produce for name brand labels, are publicly exposing what's really happening behind the luxury curtain. Videos have surfaced showing production lines filled with Birkin-style bags, invoices revealing bulk shipments to European warehouses, and side-by-side comparisons that raise serious questions about what constitutes an authentic luxury product. These revelations have ignited a firestorm across social media, sparking debates over pricing, ethics, and whether consumers have been misled about where their five-figure handbags are truly made. And at the center of the controversy? Hermès. The French luxury icon, known for its $10,000 to $300,000 Birkin bags, is now facing a credibility crisis unlike anything it's experienced before. While the brand insists every handbag is handcrafted in European ateliers by elite artisans, online sleuths and whistleblowers claim otherwise, and they're backing it up with footage, documentation, and insider knowledge. As the evidence mounts and public trust begins to erode, one thing has become clear. The luxury industry's best-kept secret is unraveling in real time. It started quietly, just a few TikToks buried in the algorithm. But almost overnight, the post went viral. Alleged factory workers in China began releasing behind-the-scenes footage showing what appeared to be high-end handbags in the middle of production. These weren't amateur fakes or knockoffs. The stitches were clean, the hardware matched perfectly, and the silhouettes? Unmistakable. These were Hermès bags, Birkins and Kellys, the holy grail of luxury fashion, captured on video not in a Parisian atelier, but on a Chinese assembly line. One viral clip showed rows of Hermès-style handbags being finished, while a man's voice claimed, "We've been the OEM factory behind most of the world's luxury brands for over 30 years." He pointed to racks of nearly identical Birkin bags and explained that the materials, leathers, hardware, even the patterns, were the same ones used by official brands. The kicker? According to him, these bags were being produced at a total cost of around $1,400 USD per bag, including labor, leather, and materials. Compare that to the $10,000 to $300,000 price tags on the retail floor, and the math starts to feel like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, a question long whispered in fashion circles exploded into the mainstream. What if the most coveted handbags in the world are being produced in the very same factories as the fakes? What if the real secret behind luxury pricing isn't craftsmanship or heritage, but clever branding and outsourced labor? These TikTok exposés shattered the illusion of exclusivity and reignited a global conversation about luxury markup, consumer deception, and the ethics of globalization. For millions of viewers, one uncomfortable truth began to settle in. The difference between a $300 replica and a $30,000 Birkin might be a lot smaller than we've been led to believe. For decades, Hermès has cultivated a near-mythical reputation. The Birkin wasn't just marketed as a luxury handbag, it was framed as a generational treasure, a handcrafted European heirloom that symbolized not only wealth, but sophistication, legacy, and access. According to Hermès, each Birkin takes approximately 48 hours of meticulous labor to complete, with a single artisan overseeing every stitch from start to finish. That artisan even discreetly signs the bag, marking it as a unique creation born in a French workshop, not a product rolling off a factory line. It's this aura of scarcity and craftsmanship that justifies the staggering $10,000 to $300,000 price tags, and fuels the infamous waitlist that can stretch for years. But now that image is under siege. Chinese manufacturers, many claiming to be former OEMs, original equipment manufacturers for major luxury brands, have begun uploading TikToks that tell a starkly different story. These aren't vague accusations. They're armed with invoices, receipts, close-up videos of production lines, branded dust bags, and rolls of identical leathers. In one jaw-dropping video, a content creator places two bags side by side, a $50,000 Birkin from an official Paris boutique and a $400 version shipped straight from a Guangdong factory. The materials, stitching, and hardware are nearly indistinguishable to the naked eye. The voiceover drives it home. One gets you on a wait list, the other ships next week, but they're made in the same place. The fallout has been explosive. TikTok influencers are flooding timelines with side-by-side breakdowns. YouTubers are uploading frame-by-frame comparisons. Fashion Twitter in full meltdown. Tweets like, "So we've been paying $25K for made in China this whole time," are racking up millions of views. The result is a full-blown digital reckoning, one that's threatening to dismantle 180 years of carefully crafted Hermès mythology. What was once seen as the pinnacle of European luxury is now being scrutinized under a harsh new light. And with every viral clip, the illusion of exclusivity Hermès so carefully maintained is collapsing, not in boardrooms or exposés, but on the very TikTok feeds that shape modern consumer perception. Hermès didn't stay silent for long. As the viral firestorm spread across TikTok, YouTube, and fashion forums, the brand issued an official statement pushing back hard. Every Hermès bag is handcrafted in European ateliers by highly trained artisans, the company declared. There is no outsourcing to mass production. There are no Chinese factories. The message was clear. Hermès was standing by its legacy. No gray areas, no compromise. This wasn't just a defense. It was a reaffirmation of everything the brand has claimed to represent for nearly 2 centuries. They didn't stop there. The luxury house doubled down on its commitment to craftsmanship, highlighting the elements that have long been part of its brand DNA. Proprietary leathers sourced through exclusive tanneries, hand-painted edges that require meticulous attention to detail, and the iconic saddle stitching, a technique so precise it's said to be impossible to replicate by machine. Hermès framed these as non-negotiables. This wasn't about trends or TikTok clout. It was about heritage, prestige, and the kind of artisanal labor that can't be scaled or outsourced. But for all the talk of transparency and tradition, something critical was missing. Despite the backlash and mounting scrutiny, Hermès offered no visual evidence. No factory tours, no behind-the-scenes footage. Not even a walkthrough of the European ateliers they insist produce every single bag, just carefully worded statements. And in 2025, that doesn't fly. Especially when Chinese whistleblowers are posting real-time footage of production lines, detailed invoices, and raw materials nearly identical to Hermès standards. On the internet, words don't go viral. Receipts do. And when you're up against viral side-by-sides and handheld proof, a press release alone feels more like damage control than clarity. The silence behind the curtain? It's only fueling more questions. As the Hermès debate continues to unfold, luxury authenticators have weighed in, offering expert opinions on the controversy. At first glance, these Chinese-produced bags look almost identical to their high-end counterparts. The stitching, the leather, the overall craftsmanship, everything seems right. But if you know where to look, the differences are there. A handle that's just a few millimeters off, a leather grain that's too uniform, or stitching that fails to match the trademark precision Hermès is known for. For professionals, spotting these flaws requires a trained eye and a magnifying glass. And that's where things get unsettling. How many buyers strolling into a boutique or flashing their new bag on Instagram would even notice? Now imagine the real, frightening possibility. How many people are unknowingly walking around with $20,000 bags that might not be the real deal? Worse yet, how many consumers have bought a genuine Birkin or Kelly from a Hermès store, only to now wonder if they were duped? It's a terrifying thought that the 25K plus luxury accessory could be just another item of mass production, designed to look like exclusivity, but crafted behind closed doors in a factory that churns out identical versions for a fraction of the price. These doubts are swirling, and for many, they're impossible to ignore. So, if these luxury bags are so hard to differentiate, the question that everyone is asking is, what are we really paying for? Is it the craftsmanship, the hours of handwork supposedly invested into each stitch and edge? Is it the exclusivity, the cachet of owning a piece from one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world? Or are we simply paying for the illusion, the story that Hermès has sold us for decades? With every new exposé and insider leak, the line between genuine luxury and mass-produced replicas is becoming more and more blurred. The fantasy of owning a unique, meticulously crafted treasure is unraveling, and the reality of the luxury market may never be the same again. This controversy isn't just shaking the foundation of Hermès, it's shaking the entire luxury fashion industry. If Hermès, the brand synonymous with handcrafted excellence, is being accused of outsourcing production to China, what does that mean for the other giants in the industry? Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Prada? The thought sends shockwaves through the world of high-end fashion. Some TikTok creators are daring to go even further, claiming that there are no true knockoffs. Instead, they argue that all your beloved luxury items, from the most coveted bags to the high-priced accessories, are being made in the same factories, using the same leather, and stored in the same warehouses across China. It's a theory that's both bold and unsettling, challenging everything consumers thought they knew about the brands they idolize. Whether these claims are exaggerated or not, the truth is the outrage is palpable. And it's not just about the bags, it's about the very idea of luxury itself. If your $5,000 handbag is being made in the same place, with the same materials, by the same hands as a $500 version, it forces you to ask a difficult question. What are you really buying? Is it the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, and the heritage? Or is it something much more intangible? The illusion of status, a carefully crafted story, and the inflated margins that come with it. This is the moment when luxury, as we've come to know it, begins to feel hollow. The bubble is bursting and consumers are left questioning what it all truly means. The harsh reality is that the luxury market has been built on a narrative of exclusivity and heritage. And while there's no denying the artistry behind the designs, the truth is that behind the glitzy marketing, luxury brands have become masters at selling more than just products. They sell a dream, status, prestige, the right to flaunt something rare and expensive. The quiet part, once only whispered in high-end fashion circles, is now being said out loud. Luxury is as much about the margins as it is about the masterpiece. And that's a hard pill for many to swallow. With every new reveal, the illusion of luxury is being chipped away, leaving consumers to confront the uncomfortable reality of what they're really paying for. Behind the scenes, Hermès is reportedly in full crisis mode, scrambling to protect its carefully curated image. PR teams are working overtime, drafting responses to the growing public uproar, while lawyers are preparing cease and desist orders to silence the whistleblowers. Consultants are being called into emergency meetings, strategizing on how to handle the fallout from the TikTok exposé that's gone viral. But here's the harsh reality. Even if Hermès wins the legal battle, the damage to its reputation might already be done. The trust of their loyal customers, the very foundation of their luxury empire, has been shaken to its core. It's not just about one brand anymore. It's about an entire industry on the edge of a reckoning. The luxury market has long thrived on secrecy, exclusivity, and the promise of craftsmanship that only the elite few can access. But in today's world, where every factory worker has a smartphone and TikTok is a global stage, that secrecy isn't the impenetrable moat it once was. Consumers no longer have to wait for decades for a whistleblower or expose to come to light. A simple video from a factory floor can turn everything upside down in an instant. And once that veil of secrecy is lifted, it's hard for any brand to claim they're above reproach, no matter how much money they spend on advertising or high-profile endorsements. The public has seen the truth, and it's difficult to unsee. Now, the luxury industry faces a critical crossroads. Consumers want transparency. They want to know that the thousands they spend on a handbag aren't just paying for the name, the story, and the marketing. They want to see the value they're promised. Hermès and other brands have two choices. Either they continue to rely on their decades-old mystique, or they open their doors, show their production process, and prove that the luxury they sell is worth every penny. If they don't, consumers will find brands that do. The age of unquestioning loyalty is over. The world is watching, and the power has shifted from the hands of the few to the smartphones of the many. So, what happens next for Hermès and the luxury industry at large? Will Hermès, in a desperate bid to regain consumer trust, open the doors of its famed ateliers and give the public an inside look at how their beloved Birkins are truly made? Or will consumers, disillusioned by the exposure of mass production and questionable sourcing, stop chasing the elusive idea of exclusivity and start demanding real transparency from the brands they support? The narrative around luxury is shifting fast, and the power dynamics between brands and buyers may never be the same again. The scandal has ignited a conversation that's impossible to ignore, and the fallout is far from over. As the dust settles from the initial shock of the exposé, the questions keep piling up. If the leather, craftsmanship, and design are no longer exclusive to Europe, then what exactly are we paying for? Is it the price tag, the marketing, or just the name on the label? What happens when the illusion of scarcity is shattered by the harsh reality of mass production? Consumers are starting to reconsider their loyalties, and the allure of luxury is being scrutinized like never before. Brands like Hermès may be able to weather this storm, but the cracks in the foundation of the luxury market are starting to show, and no one can predict where it will lead. This controversy is just the beginning. Pandora's box has been opened, and now the luxury industry faces a reckoning that could redefine the way we view high-end products forever. Will brands adapt to the new demand for transparency, or will they double down on their time-honored traditions of secrecy and exclusivity? One thing is certain: the future of luxury will never be the same again. What happens next will depend on whether the brands are willing to change with the times or risk losing the trust of the very consumers who've made them iconic. The ball is now in their court, and the world is watching.